millions and millions of people in America do not have anywhere to live. They do not have homes. And millions of people in America have resorted to living in their cars. And yet there is houses and apartments that are empty. Why is this? Because this is the epitome of capitalism. People in America, the rents are so high that they cannot afford to live in a home. And so most people, when you get a job, what do? You buy a car in which you live in. This is the global king, if you like, of capitalism. These are the people who have gone round the world destroying countries, trying to enforce democracy and capitalism. And America is a failed state. Make no mistake about it, it's a failed state. The numbers of homeless people in America is catastrophic. The number of people living in cars is even bigger. And yet, a lot of people around the world think that they're going to get to America to make that American dream. It is just that. It's a dream. It doesn't exist.
Americans cannot afford to live at all, okay? I just had a conversation with some coworkers, and they told me that some of their family members are actually living in their cars, right? They're living in cars to save money, right? They shower at the gym and they just sleep in their cars to save money and all that stuff because the rent is way too high. It's like nobody can afford to live. The only people that can afford to live, that can afford food and rent, comfortably is you got to be making like near $1 million, at least $500,000, because even people that are six-figure earners, depending on where you live, they are struggling like crazy. But check this out, these are Americans living in their cars, yo.
Making brekkie in a grocery store parking lot. I eat off the pan because less dishes. Somewhere.
Day 37 of living in our car. We've been living in our car for 37 days. It's been very hard.
I shared yesterday that I have moved into my Subaru because I refuse to sign another lease and give tens of thousands of dollars to millionaire property management companies that I hate. Fuck capitalism. So here are some answers to questions that you guys had about how I'm doing this. Question was, where do I shower? I know a lot of people get gym memberships. I haven't done that yet because I haven't needed to do that. I'm in a little bit of a special situation where my family lives pretty close by where I'm at. They're like 40 minutes away and they live on a boat now. And so I have access to like the marina showers. I just need their key fob.
Okay, boom. I've been living in my car since May 13th, about 2 months and some change. Let's talk about it.
Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel and I hope you are all doing good. Every night across the United States, millions of people go to sleep, not in houses, not in apartments, but in their cars. Parking lots, rest stops, and quiet side streets have become makeshift homes for families, workers, and dreamers who once believed in the promise of America. They are the forgotten faces of a system that was never built to protect. So guys, let me roll these clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries. In case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section. Stay tuned, I'll be back. Kindly watch till the end to understand what is really happening behind the scenes.
So I bought this car knowing that I was probably going to have to make a tough decision. I do freelance work and video, and a lot of the money will come in late, as any freelance knows.
So how far is this gonna get? Like is this the new lifestyle? Are we gonna do absolutely nothing about housing, right? Is there gonna be just no affordable housing at all? Like no $500, $700 apartments, none of that? Everything's just gonna keep being more and more and more expensive? Because right now, there are about 3 million Americans, and you can Google this, right? You can do the research, Google it. There are about 3 million Americans living in their cars or van life, right? And those numbers are going up because people just can't afford anything. Everything's just way too expensive. Something has got to change. Something has got to snap. Something has got to crack. Okay? We cannot have our families living in cars, dude. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell me what you think.
There's a paradox happening in America in 2025. The richest country in the world, where people talk about AI and space travel, is seeing hundreds of thousands of citizens sleeping in their cars every night. It's not because they like van life or are passionate about freedom, and because they have nowhere else to go. A federal report shows that homelessness increased by 18% in just 1 year, and most of the increase came from people who still have jobs, still pay taxes, still try to hold on to the American dream. They just now live in a Ford Transit. Look around. Rent is skyrocketing. Wages are stagnant. New court rulings allow cities to fine people for sleeping outdoors. And what's the result? People drifted into the parking lot, hiding among the taillights. The question is no longer how many people are living in the car, but rather, why would a wealthy nation allow that to become the new normal? Today, we'll break down 5 reasons why living in your car could be the new symbol of the American crisis in 2025. You know, in 2025, renting a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles will cost nearly $2,800 per month. In New York, over $4,000, the equivalent of the monthly price of a used Ford Focus. And the national average salary? It increased by less than 4%. That means house prices are increasing 5 times faster than wages. A study by the National Alliance to End Homelessness shows that for every $100 increase in average rent, homelessness increases by 9%. And now, those who once paid taxes and owned homes are paying off their sleep debt in their own cars. The car, once a symbol of American freedom, has now become the temporary home for millions. It sounds both funny and bitter. People no longer say they work to buy a car, but rather that they have a car so they can go to work. The steering wheel, which was originally used to turn right, is now being used to avoid paying rent. Where does the real cause lie after all? Because when housing costs become a race that wages can't keep up with, middle-aged workers who were once stable suddenly find themselves drifting off the map of stability. It's not that they're lazy. They still go to work, still pay taxes, and still maintain their dignity. But at the end of the month, they had to choose: pay rent or pay for the car. A man in the Bay Area recounted, "I used to live with 2 roommates. When the rent increased by $300, I left. The old van is now home. At least the landlord can't kick me out of the parking lot." The issue is even more concerning when this isn't just the story of a few individuals. It's a symptom of a misaligned economy, where the American dream is now folded small enough to fit in a car trunk. The sarcastic remark sounds like a joke, but it's true. In America now, whoever has a garage is rich. Anyone living in a vehicle is taking a shortcut to real estate. So the question isn't why they choose to live in cars, but rather, why does a country with an abundance of empty houses force its citizens to turn their cars into overnight sleeping quarters? What do you think if you had to choose between renting a house or sleeping in your car? Would you do things differently from them? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Behind them, there's another group of people. Silent, invisible, but growing rapidly every day. Who are they? We'll get to them right after this. You know the most ironic thing? In the United States, the homeless are not always on the streets. Many people still have a roof. It's just a metal roof, 4 wheels, and a steering wheel. According to a report by security.org, over 256,000 Americans slept in unstable conditions, in cars, warehouses, or on the roadside. And that number is rising as quickly as the price of Starbucks coffee. In Los Angeles, a survey by the Homeless Services Authority shows that the group living in vehicles accounts for the largest proportion of unsheltered homeless people, even more than those sleeping in tents. A form of urban retreat where garages, Walmart parking lots, or public parks become temporary hotels. But why did they choose cars over shelters? It's simple. Shelters are crowded, noisy, lack privacy, and are sometimes unsafe. And the car, though cramped, it was a small space to hold on to a little bit of
A home sweet home.
For more than 2 months, 76-year-old David Turner says he's been living, eating, and sleeping in his car.
The expense of everything is just crazy.
On good days, he drives to the Charlottetown Marina to greet tourists.
Welcome to PEI, sir.
Turner says his debt mounted, and after a couple months behind on rent, his landlord evicted him. Still, he feels more fortunate than others because he has a pension. It helps, but not enough to rent right now.
Seniors are struggling because of the cost of living, the cost of rent, the lack of affordable housing.
Seniors 65 and older made up nearly 5% of users at emergency shelters like this one behind me last year. That's up from 3.3% in 2000.
Did you know that 1 in 5 people living in the Atlantic in Canada have poverty-level living standards? And it's higher than any other region in Canada. Of course, nobody wants this for anyone in Canada, and it shouldn't exist in our country. Why is it that Canada could spend $1.1 billion housing asylum seekers in our country, and then set aside another $1.1 billion in the 2024 budget for more housing for asylum seekers? It would put them up in hotel rooms, facilities where they house asylum seekers with mental health services on site. At what point is enough and we start taking care of our own? This is a gentleman who's worked his whole life, paid taxes his whole life, and is now out on the street. But yet we have enough funding to house people who have never paid a single dollar in tax in our country. Someone please make that make sense.
You guys, oh my God, watch this.
So I have a message for all of the young people in America who are finding it hard to survive. I just became aware of some very, very troubling information, and it's something that we are seeing happen throughout this country. Young Americans are living in their car because they can't afford to have apartments, or their jobs don't pay enough to be able to eat and afford their bills. So a lot of people talk about the situation, the van life, and if you ever go to a truck stop, you will see these cars parked out there with young Americans living in them, because that's where they can get their showers, that's where they can shave, that's where they can, get food and kind of, be around somewhere where people are not looking to harm you. It's a truck stop, right? So I'm making this video today because I want to make you guys aware of a way that you can quickly turn around your situation. And this is going to be a long rant, but it's going to tie in to a certain individual that will make a major change in this country coming soon. But you need to put yourself in position, especially if you are young, to benefit from that massive, massive change in the way we are compensated in this country. But here's what I have to say to anybody young that's already in a situation where you're living in your car. Okay. There are ways, there is a certain industry that you can jump into right now to where you will not have to worry about having a roof over. If you're going to live in your car, you might as well make $100,000 and something while living in your car and stack that money. You know what I mean? So I'm saying this because it is easier for anybody, as long as you are, I think it's 21 years of age or older, to become a truck driver, a over-the-road truck driver. Why would you do that, right? Well, they're going to give you a truck that you're going to be living in that truck, right? But as you turn those wheels, you will get paid. The reason I'm saying this is a quick turnaround is because there are companies that will give you your truck driving license in 2 weeks. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you have a decent driving record, you can be rolling in 2 weeks, right? And this is why this is very important. If you go out there and work for maybe a year or two, stacking all your money, because you're not going to be paying rent, you're going to be living in that truck. I mean, it sounds horrible, but in 2 or 3 years, you will come out on top, especially if somebody is getting ready to get rid of the payroll tax in this country. I don't know if you guys heard that. So that means that all of your money will be, whatever you make, it will be coming into your bank account. The only thing that will go higher is the sales tax. So now imagine making that $100,000. You're being at a low point in your life right now. Start making $100,000 a year, living in that truck for 2 years, right? The payroll tax has been abolished. So now you come out 2 years later, you're coming out with $300,000 in the bank, and you're able to, put that down on a house. At that point, you will be better off than a lot of people who didn't make that sacrifice. So I just wanted to give some encouragement to the youth and give you a way that within 2 weeks, you can have your license in 2 weeks and do a complete turnaround in your life and be on a path to greatness within the next 3 years. So peace and love. And you guys are in my prayers, and this country should not be like this, but we have to give you guys ways to survive out here and eventually not have to be living in a car and not have to be living in a truck. And you can do that right now if you do your research and get behind the wheel of a big rig. Peace and love, and deuce.
We still have another clip to watch, and we are seeing across America, millions of people are struggling to find a place to call home. The rising rent prices, the stagnant wages, and the relentless grind of capitalism have forced many to live in their cars, the parking lots, or temporary shelters. The so-called American dream was once a promise of opportunity and stability, is slipping away for countless families and individuals. That is why I decided to make this video, because we are here to explore the harsh realities behind homelessness in America, the systemic issues that led us here, and the stories of everyday people fighting to survive. Guys, this is not just an economic crisis, it is a human one. So guys, kindly watch till the end, share this video to raise awareness and spark change.
So it's getting cold again. And I was just thinking about the fact that last winter, we had like crazy cold weather. It was like negative 22 outside. And I ran out to my car to grab something. And when I ran out to my car, I realized there was a man sleeping in my back seat, like my third row. And so when I opened the door, I didn't see him right away. And then I noticed movement back there and I screamed. And he was like, "Please don't make me leave. I have nowhere to go, no one to help me, and it's really cold." And I was like, so I closed the door really quick and I ran inside and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I called the police and I asked them what would happen if someone was sleeping in my car, and would there be somewhere for them to go? And they said that they could come in, make someone get out of my car, but that they don't have anywhere to take them, that they're not going to arrest him. And I live in a small town. For you guys that know me in real life, there's no resources for him here. The closest resources are an hour away. And so I had to make a decision, and not everyone's going to agree with this, but I let him sleep in my car. Some people are like, wow, I would have let him inside because a car is still really cold. And some people are like, you should have made him get out. Like, this is how people get killed. But I could not kick him out. Like, I will literally post a video or pictures that I had taken that day from the weather. But I had just made pot roast, and I put a bunch of it in a container, and I brought like 30 blankets outside, and I gave it to him with a bar of soap and deodorant. And he was literally like in tears. And I handed him everything, and he said that I will be out as soon as the sun comes out, so you won't even see me. And when I got up in the morning, he was gone. I think about him a lot. I hope that he was safe. I hope he found somewhere safe to go the next day. And I hope he's in a better place this year, because not everyone would react the way I reacted. Definitely not where I'm from.
Yeah, guys, for decades, the American dream was a vision of prosperity, a home, a steady job, and a chance at a better life. But today, that dream is slipping away. The cost of living skyrockets, wages stay the same, and for many, many of them, yes, they're saying that the wages are the same, that one medical bill, one missed paycheck, or one rent increase is all it takes to lose everything. You might imagine homelessness as people sleeping on sidewalks, but now it is teachers, nurses, and gig workers living out of vans and SUVs while still holding full-time jobs. Guys, some call it a van life, but for most it isn't adventure, it is survival. So meanwhile, at the top, profits soar, corporations post record earnings, housing investors buy up neighborhoods, and rent becomes a weapon of control. This is not failure by accident. It is the inevitable outcome of unchecked capitalism, a system designed to keep wealth flowing upward while millions fall through the cracks. Yes, even as I was scrolling and perusing through the social media, I came across footages of people cooking or sleeping in their cars. And I hope you have seen many of them, because imagine trying to sleep in the driver's seat after working 8 hours. Imagine having to choose between gas for your car or food for your child. That's the reality for a growing number of Americans, invisible to the world, hidden in plain sight. Yes, we often say work hard and you will make it. But what happens when work hard isn't enough? What happens when the dream you were promised becomes a nightmare you cannot escape? Yeah? Yet, even in the darkness, there is resilience. Communities form in parking lots. Strangers share food, warmth, and hope. They may have lost their homes, but not their humanity. And that's something no system can take away. The death of the American dream is not just a headline. It is a wake-up call. If we want to build a fairer world, we have to start by seeing those who have been left behind, because a nation that cannot house its people has already lost its soul. Yes, the American dream was never meant to be a privilege. It was meant to be a promise. Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. This video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well. Be blessed and have a nice time. Peace be with you. Until next time, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video for it to get to a wider audience, and subscribe for more deep dives like this one.